With a full roster of spooky ghosts and a literal room full of references, Annabelle Comes Home is stuffed with small details, as opposed to the original Annabelle doll, which is only stuffed with cotton. Or whatever old Raggedy Ann dolls were stuffed with. Fiberglass? Maybe that's why everyone's so scared to touch it. It's devilishly itchy.
I'm not going to touch the doll. I'm not going to touch it.
Call the babysitter because we're diving deep into all the small details in Annabelle Comes Home, and we're conjuring up plenty of spoilers along the way. Right at the beginning, Annabelle Comes Home puts viewers on familiar ground. If you didn't notice, the story picks up right where we first met Annabelle all those years ago, in 2013's The Conjuring. That film starts with the porcelain poltergeist terrorizing some girls in an apartment before the Warrens step in to take that mean old doll off their hands. Annabelle Comes Home opens on a continuation of that scene, which both grounds the story for longtime fans and gives it a firm chronological place in the Conjuring universe. Of course, we also get a little insight into why the Warrens are so scared of Annabelle, since the doll decides to bring half a cemetery back to life to terrorize the couple on the drive home. Jeez, Annabelle, can't you even chill for one night?
Honey, you okay?
The one place you never want to go in the Warrens' house is into the artifact room. That door has 18 locks on it for a reason. There's nothing on the other side but unimaginable horror.
Prepare to enter the scary door.
At least that's true in the film world. For viewers, the artifact room is undoubtedly a treasure trove of Easter eggs and references. There we can see the music box from the first Conjuring, right where Ed left it at the end of the film. There are also items that haven't shown up in the Conjuring world but are taken from the real world instead. The book The Black Shuck alludes to a mythical ghost dog that supposedly roams the English countryside, and the ferryman is a figure in multiple mythologies. In Greek mythology, he was a dude named Charon who ferried souls across the river Styx for a fee.
You like dead people, right? I got a few dead people you might recognize. Check this out. Jackson, Grant, and look who's joining the party. Benjamin Franklin.
Like a teenage girl with a crush or a mailman, Annabelle is a big fan of leaving notes.
You always leave a note.
Specifically, she leaves notes with the spooky question, "Miss me?" when she's in the throes of haunting the living daylights out of someone. This little detail goes all the way back to the first Conjuring film. In that intro sequence, the girls find the message scrawled in red crayon on a crumpled piece of paper. In Annabelle Comes Home, the motif shows up in several different places, notably on the haunted typewriter in the Warrens' artifact room. Also worth mentioning is that the repetition and the use of the typewriter is reminiscent of Jack Torrance's "all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy" typewriter breakdown in The Shining. That may or may not have been intentional, but it's a nice nod to a horror classic if it was. One of the Easter eggs in Annabelle Comes Home happens early in the movie when Mary Ellen is in the supermarket. She runs into her friend Daniela, and the two stop in front of a rack of comic books. They were only on screen for a second, but the specific comics really say a lot. First of all, they're all DC comics. No big surprise there, the Annabelle films are owned by Warner Brothers, which also owns the DC Extended Universe. You can catch the cover of a Detective Comics issue, as well as an issue of Strange Adventures starring the world's most superpowered archaeologist, Adam Strange.
Beware the Jub bird and shun the flumious Bandersnatch. Got your nose.
But most fittingly, Annabelle Comes Home director Gary Dauberman revealed that there's also a Swamp Thing comic on the rack. For those who don't know, Dauberman also co-created the DC series Swamp Thing, which was sadly canceled before the entire first season could even finish airing. Ed Warren was a man of many talents. He was an author, a public speaker, a ghost chaser, and on top of it all, he was really good at convincing people to pay him for all these things. But fewer people know that he was also essentially the Bob Ross of haunted houses.
That building looks as old as me, and that's old.
Eddie's paintings have shown up in Conjuring films before, at least fictionalized versions have. The one most fans know about is the painting of the demon nun in Conjuring 2. But Annabelle Comes Home introduces a new painting in Ed Warren's signature style, and not just any painting, but what looks like a rendering of the house featured in the previous film, Annabelle Creation. It's not a perfect recreation, but the placement of the tree and the remote house are pretty much unmistakable. Spooky. For those who don't know, the so-called real-life Annabelle doll doesn't look anything like the eerie porcelain doll we see in the films. In fact, the real thing looks downright goofy. It's just a Raggedy Ann doll. The story behind it is essentially the same, although no doubt embellished for the silver screen. Some girl got the doll, weird stuff started happening, and the Warrens eventually stepped in to save the day. Annabelle Comes Home did pay a little bit of fan service to the real doll in the form of a quick clip of a game show on the TV. Don't blink and you'll see a contestant winning a classic Raggedy Ann. It's not unusual for the people behind the scenes of the film to slip their names into some text on screen. Annabelle Comes Home is no different. During the scene at Judy's school, Judy inexplicably stops to stare at the bust of the school's namesake, Father Michael Thomas Morrissey. The name doesn't have any connection to the Conjuring universe or any of the Warrens' investigations, but it does bear more than a passing resemblance to Annabelle Comes Home executive producer Michelle Morrissey. Coincidence? In the Conjuring universe, there are no coincidences, only spin-offs. Get ready for The Conjuring 8 Busted coming to theaters in 2027. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.